Hi, this is Juan from JuanTutors.com. Welcome to my totally free office hours. Today we are working on the August 2016 New York Algebra 1 Common Core Regents, problem number 37. Let me scroll to that one. And listen, I'm excited because this is actually the last problem in the Regents, and it actually also happens to be the first full-length project for a video recording of the Regents that I'm doing. So I'm actually very excited to be here with you doing this problem. So uh, please, if you're happy for me, do hit the like button. I really appreciate it because the more people that watch these videos, the more people that we can help, and the more people that we can help for free. And that's actually why I'm doing this, because I want to have a resource for my students and for other people's students who don't have access to these kinds of resources, to have something where they can learn from. So please do hit the like button, subscribe if you think this is helpful, and definitely stick around because we have a lot more to come. Every time a new Regents comes up, we are going to make a new set of videos for that Regents, and we're doing videos in Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, Trigonometry, Bio, Chem, Physics, and after we finish the year, we're going to actually start working on the Calc AB and Calc BC tests. So we're very excited about that. Keep up with us. Definitely keep us in your minds. Definitely subscribe so that as you move up in the grades, you'll have this as a resource. All right. So now here's the problem. For a class picnic, two teachers went to the same store to purchase drinks. One teacher purchased 18 juice boxes and 32 boxes of water and spent 19.92. The other teacher purchased 14 juice boxes and 26 bottles of water and spent 15.76. The first part, write a system of equations to represent the cost of a juice box J and the bottle of water W. Now, keep that in mind. I'm going to keep reading, which is what I recommend that you do before you reread the first part. But so the second part, Kara said that the juice boxes might have cost 52 cents and that the bottles of water might have cost 33 cents. Use your system of equations to justify that Kara's prices are not possible. And then part three, show your system of equations, solve your system of equations and determine the actual cost in dollars of each juice box and each bottle of water. So, okay, now I go back to the beginning and I do circle the details. So, let's see. And I definitely, by the way, recommend you pause the video, try the problem on your own, the whole thing, and see if your answer matches mine. And not only if your answer matches mine, but if your work is complete enough to get 6 points. If you have just the answer, you will get a point, but we want to get as many points as possible. So try it on your own and see if your answer matches mine. So one teacher. So this is the first teacher purchased 18 juice boxes. Okay. Uh, Maybe I should circle that. 18 juice boxes and 32 bottles of water. And how much did she pay? She spent 19.92. The other teacher, I'm going to box it, purchased 14 juice boxes and 26 bottles of water, okay, and spent 15.76. And then write a system of equations to represent the cost of a juice box and the bottle of water W. Here's the thing, they did not have to give you variables. J for the cost of a juice box and W for a bottle of water. They don't have to give you those variables, so you have to pay really close attention to what quantities it is that they want you to get. Choose variables for that quantity, and I'll give you strong advice. This is problem 37. It's supposed to be a hard problem. It's a long problem. It's 6 points. So the easier you can make it for yourself, the better. So in this case, you want to make sure that you choose your variables wisely. Don't choose, for example, um, variables like x and y. They're way too generic. Choose variables like J for juice box or B for juice box or something like that. Bottle of water, W for water, H for H2O. Those kinds of variables, because having an X and a Y, and then you will forget what X and Y represent. And you have to look back and you'll forget. Trust me. Trust me. The best thing you can do for yourself, you have so many variables going on in this test. Choose the variables as being representative of the quantities. That's just advice. So now, Another thing, this is a teachable moment right now, that something that every student will have struggles with this problem because of one thing. The one thing they expect you to know, not just in Algebra 1, but in geometry, in Algebra 2, trigonometry, bio, chem, physics, maybe not bio, but chem, physics, pre-calc, calc, real life, that this. So one juice box costs J dollars. And you buy 18 juice boxes, then they expect you to know, not only to know, but to write it down. And algebraically, then those boxes, 18 boxes, cost 18J. The number of boxes you bought times the cost of a box. Similarly, 32 bottles of water, one bottle costs W, so 32 of them cost 32W. You'd be surprised. Every kid thinks they remember that. Every kid definitely understands that when I say it. They understand it when the teacher said it. They understand it when their next teacher says it. They understand it when their chem teacher and their physics teacher said it. They understood it last year when their last teacher said it. But the thing is, when they get to this test, they forget. So that's why I'm repeating it. And I'm repeating it in such a way that I want you to know you need to now remember this fact. If you buy whatever number of things and you know the cost of one of those things, you have to multiply the number of things that you bought times the price to get the full price of the whole thing. That's an extremely useful thing, just concept, just to be able to write down the equation. You can't even write down the equation if you don't know that. So sorry for the little extra bit of advice. This is a very exciting test for me, but this is a very fundamental thing. So now we're going to use that fact that 18 as a system of equations for the first teacher. Uh, it's that she bought 18 juice boxes at a cost of 18J, and then she bought 32 juice boxes at a cost of 32W, and her total cost was 1992. Cool. Okay, and the second teacher. Okay, the second teacher bought 14 juice boxes at a cost of 14J, and she bought 26 juice boxes, I'm sorry, bottles of water, um, at a cost of 1576. Okay, that's my system of equations. 2 points, bam, right there. So the next part, Kara said that the juice boxes might have cost 52 cents each, and that the bottles of water might have cost 33 cents each. Use your system of equations to uh, justify that Kara's prices are not possible. So I'm going to use my calculator, and I'm going to calculate the cost. What if it was? I'm going to pick one of these lines. It's really an arbitrary choice which one you choose. I have a feeling that the second line is the right choice, but I don't know. Truth is, I don't know. So let's pick one and not think about it too long, and let's plug it in. So the 14 juice boxes, according to Kara, cost 52 cents each. So she bought 14 juice boxes at a cost of 14 times 52. And she bought 26 juice boxes at a cost of 26 times 33 cents, 0.33. And let's see what the cost is, 1586, which is not the right cost. So Kara is, so the second teacher. Okay, so 14J plus 26W equals 1576. Okay, so I'm gonna plug in the prices. I have to write it from the calculator on paper. So 14 times 0.52 plus 26 times 0.33 is equal to 1586. So then Kara, and you have to give a justification why this is wrong. Frequently they'll ask for a verbal explanation. So that's it. You could just say this not equal to 1576 and you're done. But if they use the word explain, then you do need to use words, and they're free to use the word explain. So I will use words. So Kara is wrong. because with these prices, the second teacher would have spent $15.86. $15.86, not 15.76. That's it. That's done. Okay, that's 2 points. Justification is enough for this, but if they say the word explain, you need the words. So now they said solve the system of equations, so let's do that. 18J plus 32W equals 1992, and 14J plus 26W equals 1576. Okay. So how do we do this? We could do this by substitution, we could do this by elimination, and we can do this by graphing. I'm going to do this by elimination. So I see that 14 and 18 have a least common factor of 7. So their greatest common multiple is 14 times 8. I'm sorry, not 7, 2. 14 times 18 divided by 2. Okay? We're divided by the GCF was 126. So I need to multiply by this number by 7 by let's see, 18 divided by 2 is 9, so I'm going to multiply this by 9, and I'm going to multiply this one by 14 divided by 2 is 7, and I should get the same coefficient. Okay, so let's see. 18 times 7 should be 126, right? 18 times 7, right? And then I also get 14 times 9. If you don't understand how I chose the number 7 and 9, you can always choose the coefficients. Multiply this line, the first line, by the second second coefficient of j, and multiply the second line by the first coefficient of j. That's always like it removes the need to think of what these least common multiples should be, which is 126. So 126j plus, let's see, 32 times. I'm going to multiply this one by -9, by the way. 32 times 7, so that I can add 32. So 224 W equals 1992 times 7. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm going to correct myself. I'm not going to multiply by -9. That's an easier way to do it. That's actually what I teach my students, 139.44. But I'm going to multiply, for students who find it easier, just multiply by 9. And then I'm going to do keep, change. 9 times 14 better be 126. 126J plus, let's see, 26 times 9. 26 times 9. 234 equals 1576 times 9. 141.84. Good. And I'm going to subtract this line. And I'm going to use keep, change so I can change it to an addition. It's just a way to students find an easier time keeping track of the signs by doing keep, change. So I'm going to change this to an addition. I'm going to change all the signs of all the numbers. And so it's an addition of all these numbers. Okay? Good. So now the 126J's cancel, and I get 224 minus 234 is -10W equals, and then 139.44 minus 141.84 equals -2.4. And then I'm going to divide by -10. I'm going to divide by -10. And I get W equals, move the decimal place over, and negative divided by negative is positive, 0.24. So that's the price of a water. Okay? And now I can use that. I'm going to plug into one of the original equations. So how about teacher 1? Now, why am I choosing teacher 1? Because it's an arbitrary choice. But if I choose teacher 1, so in other words, I'm going to choose substitute into teacher 1 equation. If I plug into the equation for teacher 1 and I get the value of j, the price of a juice box, then I could plug both of the numbers into teacher 2's equation and make sure, then that'll be my check. So 18j plus 32 times 0.24 equals 1992. So I'm going to subtract 32. You know what? Students are more comfortable with the multiplication first. So let me do that. I love teaching. Actually, let me do that. Let me do what I'm comfortable with doing because I actually found that I get more progress with students. Minus 32 times 0.24. If I do it the way I was taught originally, 32.24. 32 times 0.24. And then I can multiply that out now. And then, but I get 18j equals 1992 minus 32 times 0.24. And then I divide by 18. And I divide by 18. And then I get j. J equals, let's see, 19. Now I plug in 1992. And I better get a decimal to the nearest hundredth because this is a money problem. Minus 32 times 0.24, close parentheses, press enter to get the numerator, divided by 18, and that's 0.68. Okay, so j equals 0.68. And I am going to check my answer because why do all this work and then lose points because I didn't get it right? It's pointless. An Algebra 1 Regents grade is worth so much money for you in real life. So let's plug this in. So teacher 2. I remember I got to scroll up to get the equation. It's very long ago. So let's see. 14j plus 26w equals 15.76. So this is a check. 14j plus 26w equals 1576. And let's just scroll up to make sure I got it right. Yes, sir. Let's see. So I plug in 14. Let me scroll down a little too far. 14 times 0.68 plus 26 times 0.24 equals, with a question mark, 15.76. So I use my calculator. 14 times 0.68 plus 26 times 0.24. Enter. 1576. 15.76 equals 15.76. And this is absolutely correct. 6 points, 6 massive points on our Algebra Regents. This will take almost any student who's failing the test to an almost guaranteed passing grade. It'll take a student from the 70s to usually the 80s, from the 80s to the 90s. And it'll take a student who's in the low 90s, usually into the high 90s, and possibly to the point where they get 100 on the test where they ace the whole thing. And that looks so good on your algebra, on your permanent record. I'm telling you. So make an effort of it. I believe in you. You keep working at it. Here's the problem that we created on our own. Try it on your own. Pause the video. See if you get the same answer as us. Again, if you get the same answers of us, definitely hit the like button. Help us out by helping other people who can access these videos and be helped by them out. That's the reason we do these videos, to help people like you out. So here's the problem. For a building project, Fabiana and Cleo went to the same hardware store to purchase materials. Cleo purchased 12 cans of paint and 20 foam brushes for $322. Without knowing how much Fabiana spent on paint and brushes, Cleo said that it could be that a can of paint cost $20 and that the foam brush costs $4.10. Create an equation for Cleo's expenditures and use this equation to justify why Cleo's prices are plausible. Okay, I'm going to work on that, but then I'm going to read the second part just to have it in my mind. Let the active part of my brain work on it for now. So Fabiana purchased 14 cans of paint and 42 foam brushes for $413.56, Write an equation to represent the cost of a can of paint and the foam brush, which includes Fabiana's purchase. All right. And then part 3 is solve your system of equations to determine the actual cost in dollars for each can of paint and each foam brush. So try the problem on your own. I noticed that they didn't give me variable names. So I'm going to choose the variable names, but not only am I going to choose variable names, but I'm going to choose them smartly to match the objects that I'm purchasing. So Cleo purchased 12 cans of paint and 20 brushes for 322. Now, without knowing how much Fabiana spent on brushes, Cleo said that it could be that a can of paint costs $20 and a can of foam brushes costs $4.10. Create an equation for Cleo's expenditures, and use this equation to justify why Cleo's prices are plausible. I choose the variables. Okay, so I'm going to say let's see, it's a can of paint and a foam brushes. So I'm going to say C for can of paint. C equal the now I'm trying to calculate the expenditures, the prices. So this is the cost of a can of paint, and uh, B foam brushes. I'm going to say B for brush. B equal the cost of a foam brush. Okay, so I'm going to create an equation like this, and again, they expect you to know that if a can of paint costs C and she buys 12 of them, that 12 of them costs 12C. So they expect you to know that 12C plus, and then 20 foam brushes, 20B. They expect you to know that that's the cost of the 20 brushes, and that's equal to 322. So the second thing they expect you to know is that if this object costs this much and that object costs that much, then the combination costs the sum. So they expect you to know that. Okay, so now I'm going to test the plausibility. The can of paint costs $20 and the foam brush costs $4.10. Maybe this is true. So 12 times 20 plus 20 times 410 410 equals, with a question mark, 322. So I can use my calculator. It's enough to just write the sum. 12. They do expect you to be able to do calculator work. So 12 times 20 plus 20 times 410. Okay, so 322 equals 322. Check. That's all you need to say. But if they say explain why it's plausible, then they can say that. I'm going to use a sentence to show what it is. What it could be. Explain means use words, and they don't want you to say something so generic, so general that it could apply to every problem. They want you to be specific to this problem. So Cleo's proposed prices are plausible because with these prices she would have spent $322. There you go. And that would be an explanation if they asked for one. But they didn't. So the check right after the check mark was perfect for the first part. For the second part, Fabiana purchased 14 cans of paint and 42 foam brushes for $413.56. They want you to write an equation to represent the cost of a can of paint and the foam brush, which includes Fabiana's purchase. So we've already defined C to be the cost of a can of paint and B to be the cost of a foam brush. We don't have to redefine that. So one can of paint costs C, so 14 cans of paint cost 14C. And 42 foam brushes costs 42B because one foam brush costs B. And this total equals 413. Okay. 413.56. And that's 2 points right there. 2 points on the second part. Let's see if we could do the third part. Solve the system of equations to determine the actual cost in dollars for each can of paint and each foam brush. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to solve the system. So it's 12C plus 20B equals 322. And then I'm going to say 14C plus 42B equals 413.56. Okay, so now I did the other one by substitution, so I'm going to do this one by elimination. Okay, so I'm sorry, I did the other one by elimination. I eliminated one of the variables, so this one I'm going to do by substitution, solving for one of these variables and using the other equation to solve for that one, the remaining variable. So I'm going to do minus 42b in this equation, and I get, I get 14c equals negative 42b plus 413.56. I'm not happy with the neatness of that. So 42b, okay? And then I divide by 14. And I got C. Whoops. So C equals that. Negative 42b plus 413.56 over 14. Good. Now I'm going to substitute this into equation 1. So equation 1 says, let's see, 12 times C, which is negative 42b plus 413.56 all over 14. Let's see, plus 20b equals 322. Okay. I'm going to multiply. I'm going to get rid of that denominator. Let's see. 413.56. I don't know if that's divisible nicely by 14. So I'm going to multiply everything here by 14 and here by 14. So let's see. And that cancels this. Then I have to, because I have to distribute. No, let me not say that way. Let me not confuse anything. This one, for the first expression, the 14 is canceled by this 14. So I got 12 times negative 42b plus 413.56 plus 20b times 14. Okay. Let's see. 12 times negative 42. 12 times negative 42. And it's a long slog, but it's a 6-point problem, so they don't care if it's a long slog or not. And this is equal to 32 times 14. I'm going to get that in a second. 12 times negative 42 is negative 504. Negative 504b. And 12 times, I'm sorry, negative 12, so it's positive 12 times 413.56 equals 4962.72 plus let's see, 14 times 20b, 14 times 10 is 140, times 2 is 280. B equals 322 times 14. Okay, and I get 4508. Good. Now, I'm going to subtract 4962.72 minus 4962.72. Okay, and so answer minus 4962.72. Okay, equals negative 454.72. Okay, and then on this side I get negative 504, by combining like terms, negative 504b plus 280b. And I get negative 224. B. Now don't be scared about the negative number because the left side and the right side are both negative. So when I divide by this negative 224, I'm going to get a positive number on both sides. And I get B is equal to, and I know again it's a long slog. You just keep working at it. 454.72 divided by 224, and I should get a decimal to the nearest hundredth. So 2 and 03. This is $2.03 for a brush. Now I'm going to use equation either 1 or 2 to get the cost of a can of paint. So now I'm going to go back to equation 1. Equation 1 is 12c plus 20b is equal to 322. There's a benefit to that one that it has no decimals. 12c, good, plus 20b equals 322. Of course, this does. 12c plus 20 times 2.03 equals 322. Now, I like subtracting the 20 times 2.03, and that's what I did last time, but I'm going to, this time, just to assuage the other students, 2.03, 20 times 2.03, enter. So 12c plus 40.6 equals 322. Minus 40.6 minus 40.6. I know it's a tough problem. Line up the decimals if you want to do it on by hand, but 322 minus 40.6. So it's 12c equals 281.4 divided by 12, and I should get a decimal to the nearest hundredth. So 281.40 divided by 12, and that'll be a nice check of my answer. So C equals 23.45. Because if I made an error, the chances of my answers both being decimals to the nearest penny, exactly to the nearest penny, and not a long decimal and not a repeating decimal, is very minuscule. So very likely I got these answers right. So I am going to check my answer. Why not? So check. The second equation was for 14c. Where'd it go? 14c plus 42b is 413.56. Plus 42b equals 14. Okay, it's very long. 413.56. I'm very excited about finishing this whole test now. 413.56. Very excited. So C is 23.45. 14 times 23.45 plus 42 times 2.03 was the process of a brush. Let's verify that. Yes. Is that equal to 413.56? Let's find out. 14 times 2345.45 plus 42 times 203, and you get 413.56. 413.56 equals 413.56. So that is a check. And that it concludes the rest of this test. There is no problem 38. Normally, I would say I'm always saying thanks for watching. I always say click the like button and definitely subscribe because you're going to need it for the next test, for the next review. And also, we're doing geometry, algebra 2, trig, all those tests that you're taking that you're going to need a review for. So definitely subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. There is no next video, so watch the next set of videos for the next test if you're ready and if those are done. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. You can do it. Keep up the hard work. Thank you so much.